to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
It's been a hell of a while.
It has. It really has been.
Been a little while. Technical difficulties. You had finals.
Finals week was brutal.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Sure was.
Just
always
so much
is.
freaking work. Yep.
Always is. This is the third attempt at trying to get this episode up. Please follow the Twitter because we, try to we try to keep people as updated as we can on there in terms of just making sure we can do the show and
right.
So this is attempt number 3 at the 26th episode because we recorded it twice with different news each time because that's how time works.
Yeah. Is this really our 26th episode?
Attempt number 3 at the 26th episode, yes.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, we're at this stretch in the season where things are really weird and we're going to get into it. Things have hit a low point-ish.
Yeah.
Just around. There's an Athletic article about things for later. Fun. But hopefully we can end on something cool because something cool really did happen in the 2 weeks since we last posted a show. Something amazing that still blows my mind.
I wish I knew what you were referencing. It's been there's so many things that have happened.
Yeah, you'll find out at the end. So for Kepi Keeper, because we're still doing this thing.
Yes.
We've switched off every single recording since. I can't remember who did it, who led off last.
Genuinely have no idea.
So do you want to go first?
No, I'll let you go first.
God, I don't even know who to pick. Because it's
neither do I. That is why I'm having you go first.
Because I'm over here.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go first.
If you have somebody, go ahead.
The best, the last 2 games were not ideal results, but the best player in both of those games was easily Eric Robinson, so I'm gonna go with him.
Robbie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been it's funny because he's genuinely been the best player they have, and you don't really expect that out of a third, fourth line guy.
Mark Shake said it on Twitter the other day, and I laughed at it because it's
Our
true.
Our good friend Mark, yes.
Yeah, he said, the good news for the Blue Jackets, the best player on the ice the last 2 games has been Eric Robinson. The bad news for the Blue Jackets, the best player on the ice the last 2 games has been Eric Robinson.
Sean Corrali's been good too. A lot of the bottom 6 guys have really stepped up. Which is
it's those top 6 guys that got to get going.
And it's really you don't want to see your best players be your bottom 6.
No.
Traditionally, no. But I mean, it's nice that they're stepping up.
It's nice when they chip in. It's just, I'm not trying to rely on Eric Robinson to provide offense for this team on a consistent basis. You're not going to win a lot of games like that.
Exactly. God. So you say Eric Robinson, and it's funny because they played the Ducks during our little hiatus there, right?
Right.
And I forgot that the Flames traded Buddy to the Ducks, and I didn't even know that they were brothers. There's so much, there's so many more brothers in the NHL than we realized, I guess, because like there's the
Yeah.
Hughes brothers, there's the Kachucks, obviously, there's the
The
Robinsons.
Stalls.
The Stalls are like prime example
Yeah.
because there's four of them. It's like what?
Yeah, the Sherwoods.
Oh, that's right, the Sherwoods. Yeah,
Mhm.
our guy Cole.
Yeah.
I hope he does eventually like get a genuine spot, Cole,
Yeah.
because like Kiefer made it, right?
Mhm. Took him some time, but I mean, he made it. So just patience for the young kid.
Yeah. So you say Eric Robinson. Um,
Hmm.
I really don't know if I want to cop out here because I feel
Don't
like
don't cop out.
don't
Don't
cop
cop
out.
out. Don't do it. Don't do it.
uh, I'm gonna give it to a guy that's on the team but hasn't like someone that's in our chart.
Hmm.
Because for those of you that don't know, I'm actually keeping track of this because that's just how I am.
Right.
Uh,
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because I'm not keeping track of it. I'm just giving you my genuine like picks. I want to see at the end of the year who has the most.
right. And what better way to do that than to actually have a chart for it, right?
Right.
Um, I'm gonna give it to Patrick Laine.
He hasn't played.
No, but he's persevered and he's practicing and he's back in Columbus.
Cop out.
That wasn't a cop out. The cop out would have
No.
been Elvis. Cop out would have been like Elvis or Corby, if I'm being honest.
Not sure Corpy's earned too many Kepis this year.
I mean, because with the whole thing going on with him, I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if we want to talk
Oh
about
yeah.
that later.
That's right. I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to talk about that later or
I
what.
suppose we can. It's more of a footnote than anything. They'll take like
Right.
2 minutes to talk about.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Patty because he's been through a really, really rough time
Yeah.
over the last couple of months between both his injury and losing his dad.
Right.
And he's getting closer. He's practicing. He's back in Columbus skating. So hopefully it's sooner rather than later that we see the laser back, right?
Yeah, we need it.
Oh yeah, we definitely.
Well,
need
I mean, we've been relying on Eric Robinson for offense lately, so yeah, we definitely can use him.
Honorary mention to Yegor because it's good to see him back in the lineup after being
Mhm.
scratched for a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like they're relying on Boone as the 1C again. Cole's been relegated to the third line.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see the kind of ebbs and flows for a rookie. It really reminds me of Joey's rookie year.
Yeah.
A little bit, because it's like you see the kid and
You see
he's
what he can
drafted high for a
do.
reason. You see the raw talent, and you're like, there's a lot to be excited about here. But then you're also like, these are the struggles for a rookie who's not a generational talent.
And the same thing can
You
be
know what I
said
mean?
with Yegor, because he was
Yeah, you're
swapped
too,
out.
for sure. These guys are going through it a little bit right now. And not even just the rookies, the team in general.
Everybody,
kind of, they're kind of fighting it right now a little bit. And this is what we expected to see.
yeah.
I think in terms of how people are freaking out about the Jackets on Twitter, I would like to remind them that this is kind of what we expected to see at the beginning of the
Pretty
year.
much.
The 13-7 start in the first 20 games.
Yeah, the hot start was awesome, but
that wasn't what we were
yeah.
supposed to be.
Right.
So it was just a situation where you and I sat back and we were just like, we're just going to enjoy this while we can, because we know that that's not going to be the majority of the season.
And we're regressing to the mean now.
Exactly, and that's it's not fun. Obviously, I'm not gonna say, oh no, I'm enjoying watching them blow a 3-0 lead on the road to Vancouver.
Right.
But
Yeah. The last game we talked about was the game against Toronto where Christian and Emily weren't gonna be, leaving me alone.
right,
Right. Um and ever since then, like they're 2-5-1.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So it's like, I mean, the two were nice. Like you beat Seattle, which we
yeah, that was
expected.
nice.
We hoped
But then
but then again, it's not the way we hoped it would be. We thought it was going to be a little bit more than what it was.
yeah, no, because it was nice, and you're watching them, and you like how they play, and they're up 4-1, and like, yeah, they got the win, but God, when you go 4-1 in a hockey game, you don't want the win coming in overtime.
That wasn't an
'Cause-
overtime. That wasn't an overtime win either. That was like last second.
No, that was overtime, wasn't it?
No, not from what I saw in the NHL app. No, it was
I'm
right.
like,
It was like last minute regulation. I think it was Max, because of course it's Max, and Max is.
I thought it was Jake Bean got the overtime winner.
Oh no, it was Jake. It was Jake from Jake. That's right.
Yeah,
It was
in
Bean
overtime.
from Voracek. Yeah.
Domi got a goal with less than a minute left.
That's
in the
what I was
second
thinking
period.
of.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of.
yeah.
God, how good has Max been?
And I mean, he had 3 points that game. Max has been
He's been Mad Max.
fantastic.
Like,
Yeah. And that's interesting because I don't think we've talked about it a ton. It's been nice to see the resurgence of him, like when he's been healthy this year. What does this team do moving forward with him? Because, we are a rebuilding team, and his contract does expire. You could probably get a good chunk for him at the deadline. But honestly, I want to keep him. Yeah. But what does a contract extension for Max Domi look like?
Okay, how old is he? He's like
He's
mid-twenties?
26, 27.
Okay. You think he'd be okay with like another 3-year deal? I mean, like, because that it would take him into 29, 30.
Yeah.
And I mean, think about the way his dad was, right?
Yeah.
If you just go based on family reputation alone, which we've got plenty of that just around the league, let alone on this team now with Cole and Max, and I guess Eric. But it's like, think about who Ty Domi was, right?
Yeah.
He was a really, really skilled. If he didn't resort to turning himself into an enforcer and like, strictly a power forward, he could have been an all-star, 20, 30 goal scorer. Right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's the way Max is. Like, he's definitely showing both sides of the coin.
But I think because the cap's going to be going up $1 million next year, and just generally speaking, what players are going for.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know if you can get away with a 3-year. Do you know what I'm thinking? His contract could look similar to if he does extend here. Could be similar to the contract we gave Nyquist in free agency.
Okay.
So that's 4 years. We gave Nyquist 4 years, 22 million. So that's 5.5 average annual value.
Right. And he's sitting on what, 5.3 right now? Okay.
It's a little bit of an increase.
A couple thousand more. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the kind of player that Max Domi is, I can see it. He's
I
very,
think it'd be reasonable.
like, we talk about the Canucks, we talk about the Coyotes, we talk about the Leafs, because I'm friends with 2 Leaf fans.
Also, they're really good.
And they're really good. We don't talk about the Oilers as much, but I mean, Zach Hyman's a former Leaf. And Max Domi is a lot like Zach Hyman. They're very similar players.
Yeah.
So that's another like comparable, in terms of
potentially. I think Hyman's had less injury problems, more consistency.
Right.
And just overall more production. But then again, it comes to the question of, well, yes, more production, but
Domi
Austin
played with the
Matthews, Mitch
Coyotes in the
Marner,
yeah.
Connor McDavid, and then Domi was on the Coyotes, and then
The
he
Coyotes
was playing
in
on the
the
Habs,
yeah.
and now he's with the Blue Jackets. Like so, no, that's
Fairly decent.
it becomes
comparable. Yeah.
For the most part. The only thing other thing is Domi plays a far more important position too.
Yes. I mean,
for the most part, when he's not playing wing.
Yeah, when he's not playing wing.
But at least he's flexible with that.
Yeah.
Hyman's primarily a winger.
Yes.
So you at least
Which
have
is
the
funny
flexibility
because
with
he's
Domi.
like the best. He was for a while the best PK faceoff guy. It was like him and Willie, right?
Which is weird because like
because neither of them are centers.
Yeah, there's so many guys in the National Hockey League. It's interesting that like are not centers. They're like they never play center, but like they go on the PK and now they're taking faceoffs and they're really good at it.
I think Mitch is the same way, isn't he?
Yeah,
like
there's several guys in the league like that.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing.
Like I remember, like, do you know who's like hilariously good at faceoffs for like no reason? Curtis Lazar in Boston.
He is
because the last 2 years that he was in Buffalo with the Sabres, I remember this dude. He was a winger because he got drafted by the Senators and then he was with the Flames.
Yes,
and then
yes.
the Sabres somehow got him. And I just remember like they literally would send it anytime they went to overtime. They would send him out there to take the opening draw. He would win it, and then he would just go immediately like straight to the bench.
Well, that's what they do with a lot of guys like that, right? Whether that's a wing or a center. Like if you are a face-off specialist, then that's.
But I remember the first time I ever saw that, I was like, Curtis Lazar's out there to start overtime,
right?
But he's like, yeah, watch, he's gonna win the face-off. He's gonna go straight to the bench. And I was like,
exactly,
face-offs. He's weirdly good at them.
Oh, weirdly, yeah. So tonight's game against Calgary's postponed.
Might not be the worst thing in the world for this team.
No, and not for the Flames either. And we'll get to that in a second. But again, 2-5-1. They beat Seattle.
Which isn't as much of an accomplishment as we'd hope it would be.
No. Okay. Lost to Toronto, made a game out of it.
Yeah, no shame. No shame in losing to Toronto. Pleased with the result for the most part in Seattle.
They lost in the shootout to the Ducks.
Which, I mean,
the Ducks have been way better this year than anybody thought.
And that's another team that's punching above their weight class right now.
Oh yeah,
I imagine
all three of the California teams are like doing that.
God, I mean, the Sharks have been one of the most surprising teams in hockey. I at least expected the Kings to be competitive because of what they did in the offseason. But
right.
I mean,
Dano and Arvidsson,
yeah. But wow, what a pleasant surprise the Sharks and Ducks have been.
Oh yeah, it's cool to see California like just heating up again.
Exactly, well, especially after like all three of them were awful last year.
Right.
But so no shame in that loss to the Ducks, but no shame in losing to the Oilers. The Oilers are a good team, but
it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. What are you gonna do? Granted, we got beat up by Jesse Puljujarvi.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, it took him a while to develop.
Took him a lot of development.
You know what?
Sent back to Finland.
Yeah, you know what? Good on the Oilers though for their patience.
Good for Jesse. Like, man.
Yeah, good for him too. Yeah.
Because I thought, we thought we were going to take him.
I thought it was a lock that we were going to take him. I was like, Finnish kid, third overall to Jarmo. Yeah, easy. And then we took Dubois, and I was like, oh, he might know something that we don't.
Right. And then everything with PLD happened, the good and the bad.
Yeah, we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly out of it. But, at the end of the day, we got the second overall pick from that draft. So,
yeah. For the third, which is like the wildest thing.
Yeah.
Like that.
No.
Like, okay, let's think about that trade for a second, right? Because
Mhm.
they're already into their careers, right? One's a second overall pick, one's a third overall pick. They both need a change of scenery, and they just swap.
Yeah, and one of them gets a third round pick, and the other gets, you know,
a
Jack
25th
Rutherford.
overall pick.
Yeah.
And a hometown kid. Gotta love the
Yeah.
hometown kid aspect of it. Like, come on.
Oh, of course.
It's so good to see hockey just like thriving in
Yeah.
the market. You know,
No, for sure. Definitely.
and it's only gonna grow from here.
Yeah.
I would think. Okay, shootout loss to the Ducks, beat Seattle 5-4. Looks like regulation.
2-5-1 is not a great stretch, but
And then
I'd
blew
say
the
there's really
Vancouver
only
lead. Yeah,
there's only one game that I was upset about in that stretch.
and that's Vancouver.
God, you
How do
can't
you
blow a
blow
game
that?
I just, do you know what it like really pisses me off, Jake? And I'm not shitting you. I'm in this really big like hockey group chat on Twitter. It's like, a lot of people just screw around in it.
A lot
And
of probably a few of our friends, right? Like Dan,
yeah, of course. Well, no, it's
well, maybe
so
not
these
those
are,
people, but like
but like those tight, yeah, but we're just screwing around. People are talking about their hockey teams and stuff like that, and I sent a screenshot of the Blue Jackets being up 3-0 after one period because someone made a comment, and I was just like, I'm just letting you guys know right before it happens. This seems exactly like the kind of game the Blue Jackets would lose.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like, I hate that. I hate that I can watch my favorite team play so damn well. They get a 3-0 lead, and my initial reaction is, this
They're gonna
doesn't.
lose.
I don't like the looks of this.
Yeah.
like
Well,
why?
it's like, okay, so every team has that, right? Especially like Leaf fans, right? Like, it's Leaf syndrome. Only
it is.
But it's like, yeah, it happens with everybody.
It's just hockey, man. It's the most frustrating thing ever. You never want to complete, like, you play a period as great as that in the first period, you feel good about it. This is gonna sound like the nuttiest comment ever. Just because of how hockey is, I almost don't want a period like that. I would much rather play an okay period and be up 1-0 because I feel better about not blowing it.
Exactly. If it's a 1-goal lead and they tie it up, it's like, okay, cool.
Anybody listening, I need you to understand. I totally consciously know why that sounds like a stupid statement. You just don't get it. You just don't.
Like, unless you're a hardcore fan like we are, then you're not gonna get it.
Exactly. And like, it doesn't even just like go to hockey. Like, I remember like in the playoffs last year,
baseball, football,
I was
both of those teams.
Like, the Browns Steelers wild card game. They're up 35-7 over the Steelers. I was with my buddy Bryant. We were watching the game, and I was just like, I'm freaking out, like, and stuff like that. And he's like, dude, you're up by 28. And I'm like, Bryant, you don't get it. you don't understand. Get it. Yeah. And then the Steelers came like kind of back in like the third quarter, and he's like, oh my God.
And he's like,
you're right. I didn't. It's like, I get it now.
It's the worst. It's the worst feeling
in the world.
Well, because I remember the last Reds game I went to.
Yeah.
They were up like 6-0, and Tyler Mahle was pitching great. And then he gave up a couple of runs, and then they brought in Amir Garrett, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
And they totally blew it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say they. I should say Amir fucking blew it, because he talks a big game and then he just doesn't fucking show it.
I'm telling you, man, like, there's nothing like worse just as a fan than blowing a game that you absolutely should have won. It's just it's the worst. It's so frustrating because it's not like it happened quickly. This team, like, they only gave up one goal in the second period. Their second period was fine. So you're up 3-1 going into the third. It's like, oh my God, you couldn't even get into overtime and get a point out of it.
I know, especially against especially against a Western Conference team where it doesn't
Western
matter if
it
splits.
It doesn't matter if you. Yeah, absolutely. God, that sucked. And not to mention, it's fucking Vancouver, man. I know that they've been hot.
And it was
Boudreau,
Halak.
It's
it wasn't even it wasn't even Thatcher.
It's not even like they didn't even get stonewalled by Thatcher Demko. Like, God.
Like, I love Thatcher Demko, but it was Yaroslav Halak. What are you doing? And don't get me wrong, Halak's a good backup. He's a good goalie.
Solid backup, but it's like, I mean, you certainly hope that when the other team's got their backup and you got your starter in net, that you're going to be able to be able to take that game
and show up. I mean, they showed up, but they didn't hold the fort.
Yeah, that's the thing, is not only like if going into a game like that, like, oh, they're starting their backup, you're starting your starter. Well, you hope that you would win a game like that, but it's not even just that. You're up 3-1 after 2. Yeah, like I said, like, sure, like you're up 3-1, you're up 3-0 after one period. You could blow that easily. We've seen that like happen many times before. Like, shit can hit the fan quickly in hockey. It's I'm more so upset about the fact that they're up 3-1 after 2.
Right.
It didn't happen just like that in the second period. It happened all in gradual. The third.
Yeah, and it was just,
and it's just this team
struggles with. This team has struggled with only playing 40 minutes for so many years now.
For about 20 years, yeah.
They've never been able to, like, they have their stretches where they only play 40 minutes, and it's been it's just been a thing with this franchise.
It's frustrating, and I get it. You're not going to play 60 minutes on every single night. Totally you're going to have lapses here and there. It's just, you can't afford to take periods off.
No,
ever, especially the third.
I don't know what you do.
Oh, God, if there was any period you'd want to play,
exactly,
would be the third.
Maybe Larson should, like, take some of his head wrinkles and absorb something out of that, and go, like, I don't fucking know. Is that not the weirdest fucking thing? That he just has indents in his fucking head?
I guess. I didn't notice until you pointed it out.
Didn't you see that thing going around where it was just like, how does his head look that weird? And it's just like, he just looks like that. Like, it's the weirdest thing. I don't even know how to see. Like, we're just gonna laugh about this.
I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm gonna make you sit on that one.
I don't know. Okay. Corpusalo. Footnote on Corpusalo and this military shit before we move on.
I wasn't aware that this was like a thing.
Like, we thought he's like, I just heard this in the Discord one day, like, Corpusalo's probably gonna have to leave and serve over 200 days military time or something, because apparently Finland forces you to still do that.
I wasn't aware that was the thing. They got all these damn players from Finland. I had no fucking clue.
And I mean, like, they were talking about it with the other countries too. Like, he sure did his, like, over the summer.
I didn't even
for Switzerland.
It beats me, Doug. I had no clue about that.
And like, why couldn't they have just let Corpusalo do it over the summer? And instead they're like, and now, even he said, like, in a thing, like, if they're gonna come after me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, and you said this in our text messages, like, is he gonna get his citizenship and avoid it? Like,
yeah, because I don't know how that works. But even then, like,
it's
gotta be like Finland, Switzerland, Sweden. There's got to be like the 3 most relaxed countries in terms of serving. Like, that must be so stress free. Oh, I have to serve for 200 plus days. Yeah, I hope nothing happens bad to Switzerland or Sweden or Finland in the next 200 days.
Specifically Switzerland, because they're always neutral on things.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? But yeah, how? What? it just randomly came upon me one day in the Discord, and I'm like, this is a thing? What?
I had no idea that was a thing ever.
Me neither. I mean, he's not going to do it because he said so. He just said, fuck no, come after me. I don't care.
I love that. He's just sitting there. He's just like that.
Because, okay, so it's like you're supposed to do it before you're 28. He's turning 28 soon.
Right.
So, yeah. What else is there to say other than he's just pulling an up yours? You know?
Which I kind of respect.
I guess.
I respect him just being like, no, fuck you.
But
No, I don't know. I love that attitude.
it's like, I'm here now. What the fuck you gonna do about it?
True. I mean, does he like? I don't know. It'd have to depend. Does he like reside in Finland like during the summers?
I don't
or
know.
anything like that. I don't know.
I don't know
It's
because we know
interesting.
Patrick does. And
Yeah,
I mean, Petty did do his already? We don't know.
I'd have to imagine he probably hasn't. But like,
No, he's probably, I don't know, because he's still
he's
young
still
enough
really young.
to like, yeah. Granted, Heischer's a year younger, and he already did his for Switzerland. I don't know what their like age range is.
God,
but
he is a year younger, isn't he?
yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Oh, how Heischer's younger? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because all those
and
guys have been around.
maybe it's just because of how he sure plays, but
How mature
it
he
just
plays
feels like
and how
he's
a
it just
center
feels like
and-
he's older, doesn't it?
Little bit. It's like
Yeah.
Darlene. It's like Darlene too, because he's younger than Heischer, right?
I still think he's a kid in my mind.
Eh.
And I think it's because he doesn't really play mature. Because I look at his game and I'm like, there's a lot of holes.
Fair. But yeah, it's just like
But like Kale McCarr is young as hell. But in my
Yes!
mind, he's not. He's
Quinn
not
Hughes
young.
is young as hell, and he
Yeah.
looks.
Yeah. No, there's guys who definitely seem older than they are, and it's solely because they play mature.
Austin, Connor. Like you look at those two guys.
Yeah. Kyle Connor.
Kyle Connor too. Yes. Thomas Shabbat, prime example. Matt Barzal, like a lot of those guys from the 2015 draft. That really isn't that long ago.
Well, welcome back to JJ Jackets, where we discuss the Coyotes, the Canucks, and the 2015 draft. By the way, did we mention that the 2015 draft was fucking awesome?
God, oh man, yeah. I don't know what Corpy does other than just do his thing and let him sort that out.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, Yarmo could help if because they're both Finnish guys.
Is Yarmo just gonna like text the? Do they have a president in Finland?
I don't know if it's president, prime minister, what it is.
I have no idea anything about.
I don't know
Finland.
what it is. If it's president, prime minister,
He's just gonna hit him up through like whatever.
Let my guy stay.
Yeah.
Just please. Just come on. Do this one thing.
The guy's just gonna respond with, okay.
Just imagine Jarmo Kekalainen has that kind of pull with the Finnish government.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, he's jacked as hell, like, but
yeah, love Jarmo. Jarmo magic, baby.
I know. GMJK, so good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Calgary game tonight's postponed because literally 95% of their team is in protocols right now. They have 18 players and like 7 staff. Literally the 2 players that they don't have on protocol right now are like fucking Dan Vladar and another like a 4th line forward or something.
That's enough to play a hockey game. Let's go tonight.
And
but
then
if
like,
they win, it doesn't count.
Right. And then like the Preds have one where they've got like over 18. They got like near 15 guys and a bunch of staff. Bruins just had 3 guys put on protocols. You remember Dan Heino?
Dan Heino, yeah.
He's on Pred's coaching staff. He was supposed to coach last night, and he's on protocols.
Jesus. Dude, you know what else is like really frustrating about all of this? Who was it? It was the guy that I always make fun of because he's kind of trash.
Because he's kind of trash.
Tucker Pullman. Tucker Pullman.
Yeah.
He was pulled mid-game.
Yes! Wasn't that...
What is that?
Was it a COVID thing? Do we know?
I'm pretty sure they said they pulled him because for COVID protocols. What the hell is he playing in the first place?
Do we want another Jersey Buffalo thing?
It's ridiculous.
Because you remember what happened then.
In my opinion, they should have stopped that game and canceled it, and they should reschedule it. If we won, though, it just is what it is. But
yeah.
But no.
Kind of like what happened in the 70s or in the 80s with the Stanley Cup.
I don't know this reference.
It's I think it's a Weird Rules from SB Nation story where like Gretzky's Oilers were playing the Bruins and the power went out. So then they had to cancel the game. And so there's like a record that was made in a game that technically doesn't exist in the record books. And it's a whole thing.
That was the power outage that ended a tie game in the 1988 Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
It was 3-3.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
How crazy is that?
That is the most NHL shit I've ever heard in my life.
4! And it was like, okay, cut off game 4. And then we'll play 5, 6, and then ridiculous. 7 if we need it, and then go back to 4 if we need that.
Oh, I would be so pressed. Oh my God. I would be losing my mind.
Yeah. Imagine if you're Wayne Gretzky in that. Or Yari Curry or Paul. Any of the big guns on the Oilers. Like.
Wait a minute. Okay. They lucked out with this.
Yeah.
It was a sweep.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank God this series didn't go. Could you imagine if this series went 7 games?
And they had to replay game 4.
Oh my God, I'd be losing my mind.
Imagine like they just started at 3-3.
Remember that one time we started a game up 1-0?
Yes, I do remember that.
Obviously, where circumstances were a little bit happier, but
I remember that. It's so weird.
Nathan Horton, only player in NHL history to score a goal in a game he didn't play in.
I fucking miss that guy so much.
Yeah, that was sad how that worked.
That was so sad because he was such a good guy.
Such a good player too.
Such a good player. Such a happy dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was always smiling.
I still have
his picture.
Signed. Yeah.
His big smile in his picture. God.
I still have I still have the Nathan Horton signed jersey up in my room.
Right.
That sucked.
But yeah, okay. There's a whole spread going on league-wide because the Avalanche, the Flames, and the Panthers are all postponed until right after Christmas, like the 27th.
Right.
Is when all 3 are supposed to be back. They're like gradually coming back. They just announced enhanced protocols where amid league-wide COVID outbreak, teams to adhere to more mask wearing, social distancing, testing. There's going to be tests like left and right and center. The social distancing is like 12 feet.
It's crazy because like I understand that they're taking like they're going the extra mile.
Yes.
For a couple of reasons. One, protect the players, but more importantly, like let's not be stupid here. It's a business. They're trying to
recoup as much money as they can.
Of course, but it's wild to me because we all know you can get COVID even if you have the vaccine. Like we're all
Yes.
aware of that.
Yes.
But God, I mean, isn't this league at like 99 some percent?
Okay,
What
you
the
want to
hell's
know
going on here?
what you want to know the crazy thing?
What
As far as I'm aware, the only unvaccinated player in the entire
is
fucking league
Bertuzzi?
is Bertuzzi.
That's right.
He's the
So
only
what, like,
one.
so what's going on here? Is it a situation where some of these players
And
are
there's
struggling
nothing going on
because
with the Red Wings.
well
Let's be
he
frank.
was out earlier this year for COVID protocols, but that
But
was
there's
before
nothing
the
going on
outbreak.
with them right now.
Yeah, which is
And it's
kind of
it's kind of funny, isn't it?
yeah, like, but it's crazy to me that like I don't know if this is a situation where maybe it's tough because a lot of these guys recently got the vaccine, so they haven't had the chance to get the booster. But
Right.
I don't know, like a lot of these guys,
We're
is it
vaxxed
just
from the
because?
beginning.
Yeah, so I don't know what to make of it.
Could it just be Omicron? Like, could it just be the new variant that's going around?
Potentially, I wish I knew. I'm not a doctor,
I
unfortunately,
know,
or
and
scientist, but
right.
like, so I'm not gonna like speculate what it could be. I just think I just find it almost a little fascinating how it's happening because it's like,
Well, because it's also like, this variant is, we're getting closer to variants that are more like the cold, where it's not as heavy
yeah,
and it's,
right.
yeah, we're getting to a point where it's just going to be a thing and it's not going to have to be something we need to worry about as much.
Can't wait for that point.
Please.
Like I just it's crazy to me because like and we understand like we've known this from the start. It's as is for any vaccine. You get the vaccine, you can still get it. But
Right.
it's
And
crazy because the whole point of this was to cut down and prevent this from happening. And it's not just hockey. This is happening in football.
it's happening in football. Because like almost the entire Browns team has been on protocols.
Yeah, they had to postpone the freaking
Even
game.
Kevin Stefanski again,
Yeah.
like got
It's
sick for a second
crazy,
time.
right? Yeah.
Baker got sick a second time.
Yeah. And it's just it's wild. Could you imagine
And it's
like
happening in real
if
life too. I'm scared for Emily because her
yeah,
and her, whole school, they just had 2 new cases in the past week. 4 students had it. One of her people
dude,
in her department had to
yeah,
get tested.
my building had like a decent like sized outbreak of COVID. I still haven't gotten it. I don't know how I'm
Thank God you
don't
haven't.
know how I'm doing it, but
Thank
give myself
God.
a little bit of a pat on the back for it, I
Well,
guess.
you're also
But like,
boosted up. You're fine.
right,
Most
like
part.
for sure. But like, it's crazy because like I said, of course you can get a vaccine and still get. But like, could you
Yeah.
imagine if all 4 major sports leagues were like, you
Outbreaks
have
at the
to
same
get
time.
the flu shot. You have to get the flu shot, and then just everybody got the flu. You'd be like, "What the hell? Like
It's the
what?
flu.
Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely mind-boggling. It's
It's so wild.
really it's freaky. It's really freaky.
It's scary. And okay, so I'm assuming this means we're inching closer to not going to Beijing. It's looking
I
more and more like that. The players,
I
I don't know if
struggle
they
to see it
still
happening.
want it.
I think naturally the players are going to want to represent their country,
Yes.
but I think the players know deep down inside, and this league 100% knows it just doesn't make sense
It's more or less not.
at this point. At this point, if I'm a hockey fan, which I am, and you're a hockey fan,
Yes.
our best advice to anybody. I love the Olympics as much as anybody. The Winter
yeah.
Games, especially like when you get the hockey turn, and even when it's not the Olympics, just any kind of like
The men's hockey, the women's
international
hockey, the internet. Yeah.
Yes, they're just it's so good. It's so amazing. Don't expect it.
I don't expect it either anymore.
And that sucks because
like, are they
we
going
didn't get it
to
in 2018.
are they going to take the break Like, are they just going to take the break anyway to try to mitigate things? We don't know.
I think that's got to be the best course of action, right?
Right, to still have the break in the schedule.
Because here's the thing, nobody wants to have a shutdown, right?
No,
Of course not. But if
we don't
you're
want to go
having
through
this-
that
if
again.
you're-
No,
If you're having this issue, man, you've already got this break literally in your schedule for what,
Right.
3 weeks?
3 weeks.
You could just take full advantage of it and say, you know what, we're going to shut down the league because no games are being played.
Right.
Nobody go to your team's facilities. Everybody rest up. Everybody get
Stay
healthy.
healthy.
And we're going to have you do testing while you're at home to make sure that you're all right. And
Send you enough rapid tests, maybe.
Yeah, I think that there's a way the league can work around this without having to actually cancel a significant part of the season, and it's just because they've got a break already in there.
But this is the National Hockey League we're talking about, and they're incompetent as fuck.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Keep in mind, this is Gary Bettman.
Well, okay. So forget everything I just said. I hate when I'm reminded the truth.
That Gary Bettman runs this league. Sometimes I still wonder if, like, because the NBA has been doing the best with this.
It's
right?
It's not even close.
Sometimes I still wonder if Gary Bettman is still, like, in one way or another tied in with the NBA and not 100% committed to running this league. Because he came from the NBA, did he not?
I have no idea, did he?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I actually did not know that. If that's the truth, I've learned a couple things today from you.
How's that for a conspiracy theory, folks? Yeah. He's still like, he calls Silver up like every night, like, baby, I miss you.
You know what, Doug? I'm sorry. There's no way he still has ties to the NBA.
No?
The NBA's way too well run.
Yeah.
For him to have any connection there.
God.
You know what? Maybe he's got connection to baseball.
Oh God.
That's a conspiracy theory. That's a conspiracy theory I can get behind.
It's not even a conspiracy theory, because I'm fairly certain that Rob Manfred called Gary, and like when the bubble thing was going on, right? And Gary was just like, the bubble keeps us safe, and Manfred was like, cool.
The shit show, man.
I don't know. You want to talk about the Canucks some more?
I guess. Okay, I have a question for you.
They've won 6 straight since they hired Bruce Boudreau.
Barbecue Bruce is in.
Yeah.
It's exciting times.
It's very cool because it's nice to see him behind a bench again.
The question, and Dom Lucian asked this, and I think it's a great question. It's not so much at this point, can the Canucks make the playoffs? Can they win the division?
Ooh.
Like obviously we're kidding, but like,
yeah. But they've won 6 straight. This is cool. It's great that they're turning things around. And I love that Bruce Boudreau is back behind the bench.
I love this for them because it allows them to pretend like they don't have any issues.
Fair enough.
It allows them to be like, see, Tucker Pullman.
It allows them to be like, see, JT Miller's not screaming.
Dare I say, Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Tyler Myers.
Oh my God. It's like
Tyler's looked good. Has he not looked great? Well, maybe not great, but he's looked.
Let me tell you. I love it. Bruce Boudreau comes in, and suddenly the team with maybe the worst analytical defense ever assembled suddenly looks good. It makes me so happy because do you know what it allows?
Well, maybe not.
It
even,
allows this hilarious defense that is absolutely not good to
Travis
stay
is
together
still
for
out
as
too.
long as possible.
Hamonic is out.
Yeah.
Hamonic's not playing. What's going on?
No, I love it. It because like next year, it's very reasonable to assume that Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Tyler Myers, and Tucker Pullman will still be there.
And
that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
But that's one more year we get to see of Myers and OEL.
Did you see the video of Bruce just like waddling onto the ice surface for his first practice?
No, but that makes me so happy.
He's 67 years old.
So also Jim Rutherford, man.
Yes, I wanted to bring up Jim Rutherford because I mean they hire this guy as interim GM. I can't even remember his name because whatever.
His name is Francesco Tortellini.
They brought Stan
we all
Smile
know the
back.
Aquilinis run everything.
They brought Stan Smile back too for some reason.
They did.
Yeah. This is just the other day. They brought Stan Smile back for some position. Return of a legend. Hey, they were undefeated in the Stan Smile era.
Fair enough.
So yeah, Rutherford is back. And Rutherford is in Vancouver.
Now, here's the question.
Currently president and general manager, I believe. Right?
Yeah, because he's acting GM as of right now because he's looking for a general manager.
Yes.
The question becomes, is there trouble in paradise between Bruce Boudreau and Jim Rutherford? Because Bruce Boudreau scored his first NHL goal on Jim Rutherford.
Right. That's such a fun little fact. So funny how it's a small world.
It's interesting. Like
it's the weirdest little boys club in the world, right?
It's such a hilarious kind of, is there something just, I know that they've won 6 straight, but there's something about Bruce Boudreau and Jim Rutherford working together that's so hilarious.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The funny thing to me is like, okay, so they're looking for a GM. I told you, I was like, oh God, if Jim Rutherford's the one like grooming the Sedins for the job, for like a co-GM job, then they're in trouble. Like, just Henrik and Daniel are in trouble.
I'd like to remind you, the thought of those two potentially running things, Daniel and Henrik Sedin one day, is really cool.
It's very fun to think about. Yes.
This is the National Hockey League. So they need to.
There are 35.
They need to go to the recycling bin.
There
to
are
find who their next GM is.
32 jobs and 35 names.
Yes. And the name that I can think of first that deserves another shot at GM.
Oh God.
Is Peter Chiarelli.
Oh no! Not another Canadian mess with Chiarelli. Oh.
It would be hilarious.
God, he already ruined Connor's love for the game.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that? Just how depressed he was during that huge slump, like years ago. He got asked, "What's it like to be Connor McDavid right now?" And he was like, "I don't want to answer that. You guys know how I feel."
It sucks. See, this team sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know who they're gonna go GM. All I know is I don't like the fit. The Canucks need to rebuild.
Yeah.
They're winning games, good for them, but like, it's not sustainable. We know it's not sustainable.
No.
And what this is gonna do is what Jim Rutherford does best. And look, I'm not gonna be down on this guy. This guy's a Hall of Famer for a reason. Like he's won 3 Stanley Cups. Why has he won 3 Stanley Cups? Because he's
built
the
good
Dave
teams
Dombrowski of hockey.
He built good teams.
He takes a good young team, and he says, "We've got young talent, we've got young prospects.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take these young prospects. We're gonna kill the pool, but we're gonna win." And by the time he leaves,
maybe
he's gonna leave you with a mess, but
maybe build 1 or 2 up that help chip in. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the day, like say what you want, like about and ask any Red Sox fan this about Dave Dombrowski.
Right.
Like, sure, it sucked when they were left depleted.
Mm-hmm.
You get a World Series out of it, you don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, if the Penguins were
they
just
won
left
back-to-back cups with Rutherford.
Yeah, if they were totally depleted after 2019 and they were dog shit from 2019 until now, do you think Penguins fans would care?
I don't think they care.
They'd be upset. They'd be like, "Ah, man, it sucks that we're in this position." But like, would you do it over? Would you want it done differently? No, we went back-to-back cups.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want back-to-back cups?
So I'm not doubting.
Ask a Lightning fan. Like, who wouldn't want to go for a 3-peat?
Yeah, I'm not doubting this guy's resume. I'm not doubting what he can do as a GM. What I'm saying is, I know what this guy could do as a GM,
and we know what Boudreau can do as a coach.
Mm-hmm. It's just not a fit. So okay, we talk about the young pieces. There's pieces to build around here. Mm-hmm. Demko, Pedersen, Hughes.
Yes.
And now in the next year and a half, you have to make a decision what you feel the future is for guys like Miller and Horvat and Besser. I'd imagine Besser is going to be here long term. Horvat and Miller, I'm not totally sure. I can see them Horvat long term. I don't see Miller.
I don't know about JT, but like, I mean, Bo's their captain, and I can see them investing in Brock.
Yeah. And understandably so.
Yeah.
So, but then also young pieces. Niels Hoglander is the guy to build around.
Podkolzin
is a guy to build around.
Jet Wu, Mikey DiPietro, guys that need.
Yeah, those are guys to be excited about. Personally, for me, I like Mikey DiPietro. I think he should be a trade chip. I think that you need to make a move with. It sucks, but when you have a goalie as good as Thatcher Demko that you've already invested in a long-term deal, you don't need an elite backup. So
you don't want to be the odd man out there. Yeah,
exactly. You might as well take advantage of the fact that this guy's definitely got trade value because he's going to be a really good goalie, and see if you can improve the defense. The defense is what you need to improve the most because it's not good. They're not playing poorly now because Boudreau's in. It's a new message. They're excited. I think Buffalo's fine in that for the future. Not right now, but they're going to be fine in the future. They got some
UPL and those guys.
UPL and Levi and Portillo. They're going to be just fine.
They're going to be fine. Yeah.
But no, there's got to be a team out there that's
Jet
depleted on.
I just wanted to say Jet Wu. God, what a name!
It's a great name.
It's such a great name. But yeah, the Canucks.
Legitimately,
okay.
Like
wrapping up the Canucks. Just wrap up the Canucks because we got 2 more things or 3 more things, and we're gonna go boom, boom, boom because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes, 10 extra minutes.
Let's go.
So wrapping up the Canucks, it's good to see them bouncing back.
Yes.
Who knows what they're going to do for the rest of the season because we don't even know what the league's going to do for the rest of the season. We're barely even to Christmas.
Yeah.
We're barely to Christmas.
No, it's so disappointing because obviously since I've been in Buffalo, I haven't been able to go to as many Jackets games as I'd like to over the last couple of years. So our good friend Lindsay, love her.
Love her to death.
I still haven't met her. I haven't met her either. I texted her. I texted her and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to the games on the 23rd and 27th. You go to either of them? And she was like, if the league isn't shut down, yes.
Right.
And I was like, God, you got a point.
Yeah, total point. And I mean, Canadian teams are, doing half to no capacity again.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do?
Ugh. Let me smell vomit.
Yeah. Paul Maurice resigned. As of recording, this happened yesterday.
That was an emotional one, wasn't it?
That was out of nowhere.
I have just
wild to me.
An unbelievable amount of respect for him for what he did.
Burnout happens, man.
I love it. Like, I mean, it sucks, but I love him just straight up being like, you know what, this is a good team. I'm a good coach, but these guys haven't quit on me, but it's just not there.
No,
it's not there. It's not happening anymore.
He didn't quit on them either. It's just
he didn't know. He didn't quit on them. He's being honest.
He was, yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Are you kidding me? There's no coach in the National Hockey League that has more credibility right now than Paul Maurice does.
Honest to God.
I mean,
I made a joke.
God, you know what?
I made a joke also that Twitch should be their next coach, but God, just imagine John Tortorella clashing. Imagine John clashing with Scheifele and Wheeler.
That's not even what I was thinking of.
Oh God.
Could you imagine Pierre-Luc Dubois being like, this fucker again?
This fucker again! Yes!
He'd literally just be like, I've formally requested a trade from the Winnipeg Jets.
I want to see it. I want to see it now.
That won't happen.
God, now I just want to see it to see PLD just be like, oh no.
But like what I'm thinking of is like we see, all the time, like mid-season coaching changes, like teams that go on to win the Stanley Cup after making a coaching change.
Mike Sullivan.
Mike Sullivan's one of them. Brett Sutter when he was with the Kings.
Daryl Sutter.
Jesus Christ.
Brett Sutter.
God, I pulled that one out. He hasn't played in the league in years. Daryl Sutter with the Kings, and then obviously Craig Berube with the Blues.
Yes.
So
that's like the biggest one recently.
Yeah, we've seen so many of them over the years, and even going back, Dan Bilesma when the Penguins won in 09.
When the Penguins got their first one, the first one in the Crosby era, at least. Yeah.
The question that I have for you.
Yes.
Okay. What team could fire their coach reasonably? Could fire their coach, bring in Paul Maurice, and win the Stanley Cup? Because Paul Maurice is going to get a job at some point this year, and I have one team in mind.
He doesn't want one.
He doesn't?
He wants to step back. That's why he resigned. He mutually resigned. Oh. He wants to take a break.
I didn't know it was what he wanted to take a break. I thought it was just because they just didn't have it, and he was making a business decision on the part of the Jets.
Well, if you watch his press conference, he was like, I'm happy I don't have a game to coach tonight. I'm happy I don't have to apply for a job tomorrow.
Damn.
He just needs a break. I said right at the top of this little segment that, burnout happens. And yeah.
That makes me sad because I was really hoping that he was going to go to Dallas.
Could you imagine?
Could you not see it happening, man? Like, could you imagine like the work he would do with that team? Good Lord.
Imagine just what Jamie and Tyler would think, and Radulov. God.
I'm not even just thinking about them. I mean, Jason Robertson.
Jason would benefit a lot.
Dennis Gurianov.
Yep.
Miro Heiskanen.
Yep.
It's interesting for the Stars because they're not in a playoff spot right now. What do they do at the deadline? If they're not in a playoff spot, I'd have to imagine they move John Klingberg.
John's definitely in there. They already sent Khudobin down to Texas.
Yeah, they're probably going to make some kind of trade at some point with him. But
Yeah, right now it's what, Holtby and Otter.
Yeah,
Like, huh?
which I think that honestly, I think
Bishop is
that's
done. Bishop
Bishop's
retired, which
good.
is the
What a
saddest thing in the world.
so sad. But for them, I mean, if I'm them, honestly, I'm keeping Holtby around for a couple years.
The Holtby's.
That's a good mentor for Andre. I mean, you know what? He didn't have a great season with the Canucks last year, but I mean,
That's why he got
I
bought
it,
out.
but
Like now he's
but
back to being.
it's not
Okay.
lost on me that Thatcher improved.
Oh no.
I think he's a good mentor. I think he's a good guy to have in the room. I think Thatcher would tell you that if you asked him that Holtby probably
I'm
had
sure he learned a lot from Braden. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, Paul Maurice. Good for you. You know, take as long
Really
as you
good
need.
career, man. Really
Well,
good career.
I
Great
don't.
coach.
I don't think he's done.
No, I'm just saying like for him. I mean, he's a great coach. He's had a great career,
Yeah,
and however long he needs to take it, but definitely hope to see him back soon.
absolutely. Even if it's just an assistant position, like as soon as he wants. Uh, Tougher one before we end on a fun thing. Uh, Beach and the Blackhawks reached their settlement,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, good.
All I hope is that there's a lot of zeros in that check.
Please, please, 7 digits, 8 digits.
Mm-hmm. 9,
Yes.
10. But no, legitimately, like I'm happy for him. He deserved it.
Yes, he deserved it.
I'm sad what he went through.
We all are, and
but,
I mean, I point to the Fallout episode again
mm-hmm.
over and over because that was our big deep dive into the whole scandal.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, there's finally some sort of resolution with this, but it's not over.
No, it's unfortunately because
the Blackhawks side of things feels over.
But there's still a much bigger fight.
Yes.
And it's unfortunately a fight that's going to go on for a long, long time.
Oh yeah.
It's not ending anytime soon.
No.
But I'm proud of Kyle Beach.
I'm proud of Kyle. I'm happy he was able to get what he, wanted from the organization for the most part in terms of just, some sort of fix.
Yeah.
Doesn't excuse, like, I doubt he's ever going to forgive, and you shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't have to. That's on him. That's on, he'll do things on his own terms.
Man. Yeah. Speaking of own terms, Trevor fucking Zegras, we're going to end on this shit. Dude. This kid is wild.
Mm-hmm.
He's so... Dude, the goal that everybody's talking about, that Tortorella criticized, that wasn't even his fucking goal. It was a pass.
Yeah. So me and my buddy Vinny talk about this all the time because we think it's one of the funniest. Vinny's a great guy. You would love Vinny. Vinny.
You've mentioned Vinny on the show before.
We talk about, I don't know if you remember this, draft day in 2018 when the Sabres had the first overall pick and they picked down. Do you know what his player comparison was?
For Darlene?
Yeah.
Hedman, right?
You would think, right?
Because Hedman was everybody.
Big defenseman moves the puck. Victor Hedman.
Yeah.
No, it was not Victor Hedman.
It wasn't Denny Potvin, was it?
No.
Because I know that was another one.
No, I promise you can guess you were not going to guess the player comparison.
Oh, dear God.
It was Deion Sanders.
Oh, right.
And so I say this because, we just made the joke.
Because I'm just like, he was a football and baseball player? That makes no sense.
Here's the thing. And here's my point I'm going with this. The player that is most like Deion Sanders, the young kid who's most like Deion Sanders in the National Hockey League, obviously was not Darlene. He hasn't been that guy, unfortunately.
It's Trevor Zegras.
God damn it! I think it's Trevor Zegras, man. This dude is the truth.
Okay. So for those of you that have not seen this, which I'm sure 99% of you saw it.
Yeah.
It was on the road, wasn't it? Yes.
Because it was at Buffalo.
It was at Buffalo. Trevor Zegras.
And I almost went to that game.
You should have gone to that game. God damn
I should have gone to that game.
Just to see that live. Just fucking imagine.
God, I'm pissed at myself that I didn't go.
It would have been cheap enough.
Tickets in Buffalo aren't cheap. I don't get it. Like, there's like,
how are they not cheap?
There's so many freaking empty seats, and like I'm going StubHub. It's like cheapest is like $45. I'm like, what the hell?
How are they not that cheap?
I have no idea.
How are they not like $5?
I don't know. Tickets should be God. $5 is might be too much, but still, like it's frustrating. Anyway,
so, okay. Describe the goal. Trevor Zegras behind the net. Sonny Milano is literally right by the black paint of the goal crease, like right along the edge of the goal crease, right? You think that Trevor Zegras is going to pull off the Michigan goal or a Forsberg or whatever variation you want to put a spin on it, right? A Svechnikov.
But he's like, nah.
I'm going to scoop it. I'm going to swat at it. And Sonny's going to score it.
He lacrossed it.
He lacrossed it right over to Sonny Milano. He lacrosse passes.
Exactly. Like
to Sonny Milano to score the
lacrosse goal. Like, you know, that Svechnikov has done and so many other,
yes.
you know, the Michigan is like what a lot of people call it. But this is the first time we've ever seen a lacrosse pass.
That was
successfully for a goal in the National League. That was crazy.
That was the coolest thing I think I've seen this year.
It's easily the coolest thing I've seen.
There was a goalie goal in the AHL last night. Colin Delia scored. And yet this is still like...
That is a name I haven't heard in forever.
Colin Delia, yeah.
I tell you, man, like I said, this dude is just, he's the truth. He is unbelievable. He's so much fun to watch.
He is mind-blowing. And, I mean, the Ducks are doing it right with Trevor.
They really are, man. Good for them.
Yeah. Trevor, he's skating with who? Like Troy Terry, who is on a tear. And, like, it's Troy and Sonny, right? Those are his wingers. Oh, my God, those three.
You know who I think deserves a lot of credit for what's going on in Anaheim right now?
Who's that?
I think we need to give a little bit of love and appreciation to Dallas Eakins.
Yes, Dallas.
It was a disaster in Edmonton. A disaster. It was brutally bad with him there.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy who was, it was his first job in the NHL. It was a total disaster, man. He was in over his head in Edmonton. And it's the first couple of years in Anaheim. Granted, it was a rebuilding team. It looked like, man, it's just this guy is a good assistant. He's just not an NHL coach. He's proven a lot of people wrong this year, man. Good for him. I think it's taken him some time, you know.
Yeah.
But hey,
he made
doesn't matter how long it takes. But I mean, he's doing it, and good for him. I think he deserves some credit for that. So
I think it helps when you have a guy like Ryan Getzlaf to lead that team.
Yeah, and it also helps when you have guys like
Trevor Zegras pulling off what he does.
Yeah, and John Gibson in that. That's got to be what a nice vote of confidence is to just look back at in your own end and just be like, oh yeah, that's John Gibson back there.
That's John Gibson. That's Cam Fowler. That's how underrated has Kevin Shattenkirk been?
Yeah, you know what? It was one of the weirder signings when they got him. Like they got him a 3-year deal, and it was like, it's kind of a weird, funky fit, but it's worked, hasn't it? It's been nice.
By the way, just to wrap up, did you notice? I mentioned
The hat is hilarious.
I mentioned this on a previous show. I want to say it was the last one we did, and I got an early Christmas present from our friend Emily, and it was this and the crab shirt. So thank you, Emmy.
Did you notice
the Vegas hat? I like it.
I've had this for years. I looked up in my drawer because like I literally woke up. You know, I was texting you. I was like, I'm staying in bed. I'm so exhausted. I finally got out of bed at like 11:15, and I was like, okay, my hair's a mess. I need to put on a hat. And then I was like, I haven't worn this Golden Knights hat yet for the podcast. I'm gonna put this one on today.
Good to be back. I want to say we're gonna keep y'all posted on if I can even get this show up.
Good Lord, you want to know how old this hat is? So, you know, I work at Lids like during like summers and during winters and stuff like that. And like they do like the embroidery on hats too. Like they do player autographs and stuff like that. This was one of the first hats I ever did practice on for. So I put 4 different ones on it just to like really get into it. Guess who the 4 players are? I want to see how many you can get. This is the last bit we're gonna do.
Vegas.
And remember, I've had this hat for like 4 years now.
Okay, so around initial roster.
Okay, yes.
William Karlsson.
Yes, he's in the middle.
Cody Eakin.
No.
Ryan Reeves.
No.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yep.
Okay, so Bill Fleury.
One of these guys, I'm going to be surprised if you get him, but the other one, I think you can.
Okay.
Even though he wasn't there long.
Theo?
No.
Tuck?
No.
Riley?
Nope.
I'm just naming bigger names and then I'm Cody Glass?
No.
No? Peyton?
Nope. Peyton wasn't drafted until 2019.
Okay. So I'm at 2. Fuck, I can't think of it anymore. I don't know why. I can't think of it anymore. Patches, I guess.
No.
No.
So remember, so 2 of these are from the other 2 that you are missing are from the inaugural team.
The inaugural team. Okay, Braden McNabb.
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If you don't get this one guy, when I say it, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's right. He was on that inaugural team.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm drawing so many blanks.
James Neal.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
How did I forget James Neal?
And the other one that I didn't expect to get is Eric Howla.
Howla. I could have remembered Howla. I could have remembered Eric. Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's such a cool.
It's a fun hat.
That's a cool hat.
And for anybody looking for the visual of it,
there you go. For those of you watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which honestly, with the way this ended up lengthening with that, it might be YouTube only. We'll see. We'll see if I can even get this video to work.
Hopefully we can. I pray to God.
Please. And yeah, we'll hopefully see y'all on Tuesday.
Hopefully. Until then.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.